So first of all, for those of you who are watching who might not know what this is, tell us a little bit about what the PlayDate is.
PlayDate is a new, unique handheld console made by a company right here in Portland, Oregon. It is a small handheld with a 1-bit black and white screen. It's got a crank as an input control on the side. Other than that, it's a lot like the old school, handhelds, like your first gen Game Boy. It's got its own ecosystem of games. There's a lot of developers out there making them. There's over 1,000 games on itch.io, for instance, by people who love making games for it. We tried to have a really good SDK and make it really easy for people to make games, and so there's a very passionate community, I think, behind it.
So obviously the large thing, the thing that people immediately look at when they're, when they see this thing for the first time is the crank. What was the thought process behind putting a crank on a game console?
When we first started designing it's like there's a D-pad, there's 2 buttons, and then, okay, well, it should probably do a little more given that there's a lot of things out there with, buttons and D-pads. And we had all kinds of wacky ideas. But the thing we really wanted to capture is make it physical. Make it something that you use with the muscles of your hand and your fingers. And when we saw the crank and tried it, we all thought, oh, this just lends itself to so many game interactions. You're rotating something, you're reeling something in, you're rolling something out, you're pulling something up or down. And it just felt like it would be so rich. And I think that's been true because a lot of the games use it in really inventive ways.
If not a crank, what, if you were to do a second version of the PlayDate and you were to put another input system or whatever term, I'm blanking, I talk for a living, I swear, onto the system, what do you think you would want to put next?
Well, I can tell you about some ideas that we considered originally. For instance, like a pressure-sensitive pad under the action buttons, so you could kind of go left and right just by sliding on the surface of it. That could have been cool. There was a spring-loaded, almost like a pinball machine, launcher type thing. So it would maybe be cool for spring-loaded tension things like that. There was going to be, the crank was going to be removable, and then you could put on another thing, like a screwdriver or whatever. Yeah. All awesome ideas. We wouldn't have shipped for another 25 years if we had gone with all of them.
And so, obviously it's an open platform. A lot of people are developing games for it and things of that nature. Of the games that you've seen that maybe utilize the crank, which one do you think has done it the best?
There's a game by Lucas Pope, the maker of Papers, Please and Return of the Obra Dinn. He made a game called Mars After Midnight, where you kind of play a person in a community support center for aliens on Mars, and you're doing all kinds of things with the crank, you're opening a door, to peek out. You're cleaning up a table. A lot of different uses. None of them are exactly what you think of as a crank thing, but they're all very natural and they all feel very organic, and they feel like they wouldn't be as fun with a D-pad or something. So I think that one really makes it special.
And you mentioned that you guys had a lot of ideas for potential stuff for the PlayDate that you almost went with. What does the future of the PlayDate look like? Are you guys possibly thinking of a second version? What's going on there?
We have a ton of ideas, ton of things we'd love to do. Right now, we're probably focused on supporting our developers the most. We want to see awesome games. We want to make it easy for people to make these, reach, communities and underrepresented developers out there, and just make it a really good choice for them to be spending time with us. Because people are doing that anyway, and I almost feel guilty. I'm almost we have to give back to them. We have to make it really, worth their time to do this.
And then finally, I blanked because I got
freeze-dried candy.
Freeze-dried candy.
This is mine and my sister's business. She's right there. And my dad, me and my sister own the business. We have our candy is really good. We make it. We have our own freeze dryers, and it's the best candy in the world.
Well, thank you for that.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And this game is really good. You should get it. Everybody buy it.
And then, if people do want to get a PlayDate, where can they go and get it?
If you go to play.date, that's our website. You can start there. Right now we're back ordered, but we saved a box of them to have here at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. But we will be selling them online. Play.date is your destination. Start there if you want to buy one, develop for one, learn about it, or talk to other people who work on it.
And I will say I've gotten a chance to play with one before. I have a friend who actually has it, and I was sitting at his Christmas party last year, sitting there playing with it and having a good time. It is it is so much fun. It's phenomenal, and there's just so many brilliant games out there. I'm excited to like dive into the dev scene for it. So thank you very much for talking to us today. Definitely get out there, check out play.date, check out the device, check out all the games that people are making. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your kind words about it.
Thank you.